So the excitement level for the spring, you guys have a lot of players coming back, got some new faces coming. I guess what are you looking for from the group collectively on offense this spring?
Just to gain knowledge and keep going, taking steps forward. Nothing too special. We just got to get a lot better, a lot more detailed, and had a good, conditioning. Everybody get stronger, faster, bigger, learn how to fight through adversity. But at the end of the day, we got to go out there and execute. And we got to execute consistency. We got to get it done. So, just excited to go to work.
Coach, you got depth. You got the whole team has some depth.
We're building depth.
You're building it. And so this spring, I feel like y'all could probably get after it pretty good, offense versus defense, and challenge them some.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that was similar to the spring kind of last year, too. I mean, we always going to find a way to develop the O-line, D-line. I mean, whether it be, the half-line drills, the inside drills, to really kind of, get that physicality, establish that mindset. But also, you got to come out of the spring with the understanding of, when the player walks out of spring, they should know what to do. To execute it with high confidence. Might not be as detailed because you are kind of doing those physical deals, but we got to find a way to find the details and development and the understanding of what we want to do on offense.
Where do you think, how far has the O-line in particular come from a depth standpoint?
We're building naturally. This is my fourth year, being here, so we should have some more bodies in. We should be getting guys that can kind of give them more high competition and keep developing. We got guys like Darius coming back, Maurice coming back, Rob Scott coming back, Early, Sapp, all that big high school class we signed with Kanaya, Julian, Dalton Richardson. So we got a lot of guys that have been in the program for going on 2 to 3 to 4+ years. And then you add some competition with a couple of older experienced guys coming in. So I think I'm just excited to see those young guys say, all right, I don't want to be on scout team anymore. So what am I going to do to make sure I'm on point?
Coach, what are the things that you all did well last year, and what are the things that you continue to work on this spring? And what are some of the things that you'd like to see improvement on for the spring?
They always target things that we're going to work on basically overall as an offense. The first is alignment. We got to make sure our alignment's on point with the balls on the hash, balls off the hash, things like that. As far as my position, the thing we got to talk about is the big thing we watched film was getting off the ball at cadence, anticipating the cadence and things like that. Too many times we're watching film and we're coming off at the same time as the D-line, which causes problems in protection. So that's a big thing we're going to emphasize. And then just overall physicality and hand placement, just more detailed coaching things. Now, broadly, we better walk out of here and know what our answers are versus pressure. We better know, all those older guys that have been in for a while, they better get into the fine-tuned details of this offense.
What's the next step? Jordan's been so good, the last few years and getting better year over year. What's next for him in this development?
No. Number one, to build more continuity. We got some new guys that's going to be thrown to. We got a lot of older guys, but we got some young guys that's coming along too. So building that continuity, and he already pretty much taken full control of the offense. So now coming up with the answers where he never has to look to the sideline again. So I think he's still continuing that process, continue to develop, and all the new stuff we're putting in. Doing our offseason studies, whether it be NFL, other teams that had success. Go back through red zone studies and short yardage studies and things like that we have to improve on the offense. And I think him having that understanding and getting us in the best plays and being elite.
And then at quarterback, there's 3 other guys with varying level of experience. What are you looking for from those guys kind of battling out for reps and whatnot in the spring?
Yeah, we do got a healthy, with Brock and AJ and Tate. That's going to be very fun to watch. The good thing about it is I know Tate's been here for a while. AJ knows the offense well. Brock's coming in, had a really good offseason, so I'm interested to see him jump into the offense. But that's going to be some high-level competition with guys that pretty much have a good grasp on the offense.
How did last year make you a better coach in this role?
Well, I think more of building depth within the group. I've always had to cross-train guys, but even in the last play of the season, we had to put a guard at tackle. We had to put Zane Herron in the game. We lost quite a bit of guys. So I think I'm most likely trying to more improve myself as it doesn't matter the situation, the scenario. I got guys deep in the roster that can play all 5 positions.
You put your offensive coordinator hat on and tell us about your offense coming in for this spring.
Well, we have an identity. We know where we want to be. We know how we want to attack. Now it's just catching up where we have way more people that know how to go in there and execute what we're trying to do. And not just learn the base play of the offense, but the answers and the adjustments and the checks and the communications to take it to the next level where we're never caught with our pants down or in a bad play and something that we didn't want to do because of the level of understanding. So I really want to push that level of understanding for the answer answers and the concepts and the kind of the one-offs that happen throughout the game.
When Mike was talking earlier, started talking about some of the skill players and kept going down the line of different types of guys and seemed happy about all the different weapons he has. But is there a balancing act? Like, you guys have so many newcomers, returners at different spots, different skill sets. Like, how do you figure out what you do best when you have so many pieces to kind of vet?
That has happened because of the development of the younger guys that we brought in that are now becoming those older guys. Because I know he talked about Darion. I know he talked about, probably Darion, Deuce,
Tron.
Yeah, Tron. I'm trying to go through my head of all them guys that have been around. LT. Like, all those guys have been here for a while. Marquise and Douglas. Like, those guys have come in and made to the mix. That would create the competition. You know, we like to talk about the new guys coming in, but what created the competition was those guys can stand in the program, getting better, and now they've been pushed to the forefront. They become the vets.
What did you saw yesterday in tour duty, Julian Armella participate? What are you expecting out of him this camp?
Yeah, Julian, man, he's been fighting through. He had an ankle deal that got corrected. Now he's, feeling really close to 100%. So what I was proud was whenever he felt good, he wanted to jump in there and go compete. And that's the attitude of what you want to develop, because he pretty much said, hey, I'm going to sit this out and heal up, and nobody would have batted an eye, but he still jumped out there and wanted to jump in drill. So I'm excited to see. Now we got to protect him from himself a little bit, but I'm excited to see what he wants. His mentality is there. I got to see the work they put in.
Going back to some of the guys who have developed when they were from being younger to now they're about to be in bigger roles, isn't that kind of what you want as a program, for that steady development and competition to grow through there?
That's the way it should be. That's the way it should be. Now you got like Maurice. I always bring up Maurice Smith because every year I bring in somebody to challenge him, and he don't bat an eye. He just keeps going, and he just hit some PRs in the weight room, and his weight is up. So I'm excited to see him. There's Washington played all 5 positions last year. Things like that. He talked about Tate, and we named all those guys, but that's what created the depth. Now they might not you won't let them get too comfortable with just saying, all right, now I've been here for a long time, so I'm gonna be good. So you bring in some guys to challenge. Now that ups that up just another percentage, which you can get more out of them. So it's gonna be fun watching compete.
Is there something to like those guys like Darius, Maurice, like they've had their struggles too to get to this point now? Is there something valuable to having to go through bads to enjoy where you're at now?
Yeah, but it just speaks to more of, hey, I wasn't strong enough. Hey, I didn't understand the one-offs of the off. I didn't know if that guy crossed face with how I was supposed to react. I might have got thrown out there too early. I had shoulder surgery when I first got it. All those things are life lessons, and also, you don't want to get that feeling no more. What happens on that field when you didn't take care of business and didn't pour into everything you had, and you have that regret. So erasing those regrets help preparation in the offseason.
Who are some of the young offensive linemen I want to be particularly mindful of this spring?
Oh, yeah. Jalen Early, Julian Armella, Quayshawn Sapp, Dalton Richardson. Them 4 guys are really pushing to kind of break some noise in them. And really got a chance to kind of jump and try to break into that starting 5. So it'll be interesting to see what the older guys and the younger guy mix, how that kind of, how that shakes out. But those guys are doing a good job. And another guy is Kanaya Charlton, looking good. I watched him move the other day. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see who goes from just not a guy that's just learning what to do to learning the totality of what we're trying to do on offense to understand the flashes and the reactions.
Just to follow up to that. I asked the question earlier to Mike, you want to build a rotation. You want to get your guys developed in the spring. But at the same time, there's a balancing act that you want to be. To have a rotation, you can't have guys jumping out of the portal because they're too far down the depth chart in their mind. How do you encourage or communicate with your players that we want to build a rotation, you're part of it, this is what we need out of you in the spring?
Honesty. That's one thing we talk about is if I tell a player what he needs to do to be able to play and he doesn't, I better make sure I got a plan for him to play. I'm going to be held accountable to what I said. But also, you put the onus on both of us. If you do these things, I'll make sure you're good. If not, then we know what the issue is in the last on March 3rd and not in September. So just those honest conversations. And whether we like it or not, the portal is real. I mean, you can't prepare to prevent the portal. It is here, and it's going to be a part of it, but honesty is the best policy.
It could be your friend.
Be either way, but it's a part of college football now. So we don't go into necessarily say what do we have to do to appease. It's just more be honest up front and let them know what it is so they know exactly the conversation, so there's never no blow up or no misunderstanding.
You feel confident? I asked Mike about you talked about expectations. There's going to be a lot of focus on this program going into the fall based on what you guys did last year. How do you kind of? It's a different feeling for this program, I guess, it's had in the last 4 or 5 years. How do you kind of manage that and keep the players to not maybe look too far ahead? I guess is what they're trying to do.
Yeah, we've been there and done that. I mean, like for players in the inside of the program, it's a little bit different from the outside because they just concentrate on the daily growth. We do a good job of stressing that and making sure we're just doing our own self-improvement each day. But no, man, that's why I came to Florida State. I felt pretty similar to it was when I first got here. Even then, it might be a different expectation, but there was still an expectation. So that's why you want to come to a program like this because that's always going to be the constant, and that pushes not only the players but the coaches to be their best too because you're the place that has expectations. So that's why we're in the profession because you want to be somewhere where it's important.
Hey, you've had opportunities both college and pro. Why do you stay here?
Yeah, well, sometimes that's exaggerated. I stay here because I don't think I'm staying here. I'm thankful that they allow me to stay here. That's the difference, So I am blessed to be here. I love being here every day. So it's not like a deal where it's a competition where Coach Atkins is going to go. Coach Atkins is glad they're in Florida State like him.
Alex,
Sorry, just to follow up on that, you could have had opportunities, I'm sure. I'm sure your phone wasn't silent during the whole carousel. What do you like about here and why you would want to stay?
Well, a lot of that got to do with my wife. She loves Tallahassee.
Okay.
My wife loves Tallahassee. She works here in town. She's the real boss. So if they calling me, they calling the wrong person. That's bad recruiting on them. And number two is I'm at Florida State. I don't know why that's kind of overlooked. I'm in one of the premier college football programs in the country that's made a lot of noise. So it's hard to compete with this program when it's rolling.
Alex, there's a lot among those